started soon. This is just going to play for another 3 minutes, and I'll bring Chainsaw in, and we might have some other guests show up. So give us a second, guys. Grab a snack, grab a treat, grab a drink, eat an edible, whatever you got to do. To get you hype. I'm sorry it's stressing you out. It's supposed to be a hype music. Sorry. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started. I'll bring Chainsaw on. Video. We're doing a roller coaster ride. No, I thought that would be a fun way to start it off. I'm going to make some new intro videos. I know a lot of people do these like long intros for their streams. Because apparently YouTube has a bad habit of not notifying people quickly that you're live. So they'll come in like 45 minutes later and like, oh, I didn't see you live. I didn't know you were live. No Loki spoilers. No.
I'm not even caught up.
Yeah, just don't, because I know some people in the chat probably are. So do not do that. We're literally just here to talk about two things. And although we can talk about some other stuff, because we will, I mean, I just don't spoil anything, please. Please. If you do, we have mods, and I'm sure they'll do something for you. So anyway, Chainsaw is here. Welcome, Chainsaw. So glad to have you.
Yes, hello. Thank you.
Yeah, I joined you for, it wasn't this past week, but the week before for your Council of Creators. It's a lot of fun. You guys have a good time over there. It seems like a laid back stream.
Yeah, pretty much. We kind of just chill and hang out. It was cool to have you on for the first time because you had joined a random off the cuff stream like before it became what it is. But it was cool to have you on. It was cool.
Yeah, it's a blast. If you guys have not seen it yet, please go over and check out Chainsaw's Council of Creators. I'm gonna be joining him next. Is it next week that we're doing it? Next week. Yeah. I'll be over there next week, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we got some bad. Well, I guess not bad. It's news. We got news today. So we're gonna. I guess we should wait. Let's talk about something else first. We get to that because I want to give people a chance to get in. So we'll start that in a couple minutes. Let's talk just generally about this. What's happening right now? So we know the actor strike is about to hopefully wrap up. Seems like it's, are you optimistic or are you not optimistic about it?
I'm not because they didn't meet today.
Right.
And supposedly the studios are like, well, if we don't wrap up a deal by tomorrow, and they said this last week, like by the following next Friday, we're stepping away till January. I'm like,
right.
So if that's true, I don't see it happening tomorrow,
right?
Because they didn't talk today. So
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I hope they can do something. I know they've greenlit a couple of like promotional things. I think Hunger Games got a waiver to promote that movie. I think something in January also got a waiver, just in case. I don't remember what it was, but
I don't know. I know the big thing was that they did the prequel, which that movie's not going to do well, but whatever.
You know, the thing is that one of the biggest drawbacks to what's going on with the strikes in terms of like the fans is they don't know stuff is happening.
Yeah,
that's the problem. A lot of people don't seem to know when stuff is coming out, what's coming up. Because to be honest, I saw this Hunger Games thing advertised like what 2 years ago. They did like a teaser for it, so I kind of knew it was coming out. I'm not a huge Hunger Games fan though, so I'm not somebody that really follows it. But when I saw the teaser, I was like, okay, so we're going back to this again. I think the first couple of films were good, but then after that, I just kind of, you know, I didn't really care too much about it. But I mean, that series launched a couple of careers. One of them was Mystique. I mean, she became massive because of that. So, which is how she became the big character in the X-Men films, was because she became such a huge star in Hunger Games. So there's that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, you are right, because like they keep like delaying stuff or moving stuff around. Like people tonight didn't know Invincible season 2 premiere hit. They thought, oh, either they knew it was tomorrow or they didn't know it was coming out.
Right.
So it's like it's really bad.
There are diehard fans that don't even know. That's the thing. We're not even just talking about casual people. We're talking about diehard fans. You know, this is the thing, and I want to reiterate this as we talk about, because we're going to talk about Marvel a little bit as well. Without actors promoting content, whether it's like live actors, voice actors, whatever it may be, without them promoting content, this is the kind of stuff that happens. And this is why they're fighting so hard to be respected, because they're trying to show the studios, if we're not out there doing this, these things have no value to you. You need us. It's also showing if you make an AI movie without people to promote the movie, this is going to be what's going to happen. This is the result of that.
Yeah,
AI movies aren't going to work.
Yeah, because like what we've seen is that a lot of people don't follow studios on social media. They follow the actors. They follow bands. They don't follow like people when they listen to music. They don't go follow the record label for the most part. They follow the musicians. They don't care. Right. So the studio's in a really weird situation. Like they have to use either pre-recorded material that was like over a year ago when the movie was being filmed, and that's all they can use. And I don't know why they gave the Hunger Games prequel a waiver, because they've only been doing it for films and projects that were not under AMPTP.
Major studios, right?
Yeah, and I don't know why they're allowing this,
because now it looks like why are the Marvels not allowed to get a waiver then? If you're going to give it to Hunger Games, why are you not giving it to the Marvels? Why didn't you give it to Blue Beetle? Why are these other ones, like, if anything, Blue Beetle needed it more than these major films, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
and I felt bad because the director, he's the only one who could still promote it, because it just went to digital, and he's the only one who could still promote the movie. Yeah, like it's unfortunate. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, all right, we're about 10 minutes in. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about this news about Superman and Lois, as everybody's here for that. So I'll pull up the article, but we're just going to kind of talk about it. The article doesn't say, to be honest, it doesn't say very much. But it's an article letting us know what's happening here. Let's see. We do have a super chat from Victor. Let's go ahead and get this one knocked out. So Victor with a $4.99 super chat and a Team Airrick member. Thank you for your support, Victor. You're the best. I appreciate it. Hello, does this affect filming outside of the US? So we're talking about the actor strike. Not unless they're under the God, I can never get that right. ATPMP.
AMPTP.
Gosh, I can never.
It's okay.
I just want to say the whole name. I want to say the whole thing. I know the whole name, but I don't I can never get the alphabets right. Anyway, if they're not part of that particular group, then it doesn't affect them at all. Nope. But it will affect actors if they are members of SAG. So
and that's the weird kind of gray area, because House of the Dragon season 2 kept filming when the strike hit, because majority of those actors had international contracts that actually superseded over the SAG stuff. Right. So they had to continue filming, and if they would have then started striking, then they would have faced some serious legal consequences, because they had international deals. Yeah. So.
So I'm glad you're here, because you said it much more eloquently than I could. So, Yeah, so there are some things outside, like even in Canada, there's stuff that is filming if the actors are and the writers are not part of the guilds. But if you are connected to that in any way whatsoever, unless you get permission, you can't do anything. And yes, I can tell you right now with 100% certainty, this will affect 2024. Yes. And it will probably affect part of 2025 as well, because stuff will get pushed back. So that means other stuff has to move. So it'll be like COVID all over again. It'll be like when COVID was happening and they had to keep shuffling stuff, except this time there's no COVID. It's just greedy corporations that don't want to pay people. That's the difference. So it does suck. Like it really, really, really does suck. But thank you for your super chat, Victor. All right, so if you saw this, I mean, you guys probably already know, but let's go ahead and read this out. End of the CW's DC era, Superman and Lois to conclude with season 4. This, I saw this, and I don't know if it was like a sigh of relief or if it was like, you know what I mean? Like at this point, they haven't even started filming the season yet. There's nothing being done on season 4 of Superman and Lois, and we know, Chainsaw, that they're losing like half their writers.
Yeah, it's bad. And they lost more than half their lead actors.
Yeah. Yep. So we're in a situation now where they haven't even started filming yet, and we know that this is going to be the end of the show. Now there is a plus side to this. The plus side is that they know it is ending, meaning that the season should have a proper season finale, not one of those like, oh, we're halfway through the season and now we know we're going to wrap things up. Like they know ahead of time. That's always good because you're going to get quality.
Yeah, because now they can still they can actually properly plan it, and they're probably writing it now. They're writing out how they're going to wrap this up because they can do that.
Yeah,
they just can't shoot it. Yeah. So
I mean, almost all pre-production except for like primary filming can be done. They can start building sets. They can start doing all kinds of stuff. They just can't film anything with the actors, which is the important part. But it's also like this is. I've read this a million times, and Darren, if you want to jump in, let me know. I'll send you a link. That the filming process is the fastest process. That is the fastest part of it. Pre-production and post-production take the longest amount of time. Yep. You can film a movie in like 3 weeks, but then you spend like 6 months in production because you have to do special effects. You have to do all of the editing. You have to go through and decide what you want to keep, what you want to throw out, because you can get a lot of stuff filmed in a short amount of time. Like you watch these reality TV shows, like I love Ink Master. Have you ever seen Ink Master? You ever seen that show with the Ink Master? A couple of the people on that show said that they would film like 14-hour days, and you have to take that and cut it down into 42 minutes. So there's 14 hours worth of footage that gets cut down into 42 minutes. So can you imagine how much footage they film for these shows that just never, ever gets used? I mean, they probably have so much reel left over. And Chainsaw, you've done fan films. You've done your own stuff.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about that for a second? Like, how does that work with going through and editing and all of that stuff? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I'll talk for a minute because Darren said send it. So
yeah, I'll send it over. So keep them busy. Keep it busy.
I'll keep busy. Oh, so essentially, we would shoot like probably a couple of scenes per day, depending on our schedule. And when you think about it, once the film is done and everything in post, which takes a long time with all the lightsaber effects and everything, if we really planned it out and we had no like scheduling issues, like this was our job, we could probably film one of those 30-ish minute Star Wars films in probably 2 weeks, and then it would be done. But I mean, obviously for them, they're shooting like what, a week and a half, 2 weeks. They're making a 42-minute episode,
right?
Like, and they're doing that just back to back to back, keep going. And so that's the big thing, though, is like they're professionals, but it still takes time. Like there's probably days where they shoot 2 scenes, and then another day they shoot 4. Then so we have multiple crews at one point. Like that's what movie sets like how they get done faster. They have multiple crews running in different locations, and then they just have the actors going back and forth, so they get more stuff done.
And people don't understand also, shows like this a lot of times are done with what they call single camera, which means they shoot one scene with one camera, which means that you have to do like, I'm shooting from Tyler's back on this scene and then do it over again, and you're shooting from Elizabeth's side on this scene, and then they just mash those 2 things together to make one full scene, which I think is quite interesting. Victory with the 1 eye and super chat says, do you see any special guests coming in? You know what? I truly believe that if they're going to do it, this is their last and final time to make this happen. Because once this is gone, everyone, I want to be clear here. Once Superman and Lois is gone, that is officially the end of all of this. I don't think we'll ever see any of these characters come back into the fold in their current state.
No. And the thing is, too, they would have to explain imposter Darren. That's not Darren. They would literally have to say, okay, if they get Grant to come in, they would have to explain this is not the same Superman that you knew from
right.
like Earth Prime. So it'd be like they'd have to explain all that. But
do we need that though? Do we need, honestly, I don't need it. Like if they want to bring him in, I don't need it. What about you? By the way, welcome Darren. Darren has jumped into the chat here. Good to see you. What do you think about this, Darren? What are your thoughts on this?
I know this sounds terrible, but I was so happy when I saw this come across.
Okay.
Again, like I love this show's been one of my favorites. I've absolutely loved it, but I was stressing so much come next year, where I did not think we were going to get a season 5. Like we were so lucky to get a season 4. I didn't think season 4 was happening. I had it like in my head that, oh yeah, it's going to get canceled for season 3. So it got a season 4, and when that happened, I was like, CW announces the final season. Write the final season. Just let the show go out on a bang. Like we lost Legends, we lost Batwoman, we lost Black Lightning as well, basically, right? We lost all these shows. Let Superman and Lois live as this like legend of like these DCTV shows, because it's been amazing. Like it's had 3 amazing seasons. Let it have a amazing fourth season, go down in history, and just be a great show.
I will say this, and before you got here, I mentioned this. One of the worst things for me is when you love a show and it gets canceled. Like, and this, look, I want to make it very clear. This was not canceled. I know people keep saying that. This was not canceled. But when a show like this, at this level, where you've had 2-3 seasons of it, and it gets canceled and you do not get a proper resolution to characters, I feel so defeated, because then I don't want to go back and watch the show anymore. I don't want to go back and relive that. Like I feel like Batwoman and Legends are tainted for me now, because they both end without resolutions to stories. And that's such a shame, especially for Legends that gave us like 7 seasons.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I blame the showrunner.
Yeah. So we have here Cody with a super chat. It says, start and end with Superman, poetic as hell. So I think we're talking about Smallville being like the beginning of this TV era.
Yeah.
Look, people argue about it all the time. We would not have had the Arrowverse without Smallville. Absolutely, 100% Arrowverse was whether you love it or hate it. It would have been the beginning of all of this. And I have no issue with this show ending the DC TV run, because this is a very big quality show. I know he's got a head of hold his head up there. I know. But let's just, I've got one of the paragraphs here highlighted, because we'll read that and then we can take it off the screen here. But this is from them. It says, while we're sad to say goodbye to Superman and Lois at the end of season 4, we're grateful for the time we've had with our amazing cast, crew, VFX teams, editors, musical geniuses, and writers. Since the day the show was first discussed, it was about family, and that's what was created on and off screen, said Todd Helbing and Brent Fletcher. We'd like to thank our partners at Berlanti Productions, DCWB, and the CW for their endless support and enthusiasm during this journey, and give a very special thank you to all the fans for tuning in. We're thrilled about what we have in store for our final season. We can't wait for everyone to watch Superman, Lois, and all of our heroes facing off against the biggest threat in the show's history. Lex motherfucking Luthor is coming in for season 4. Thoughts on, it's a classy goodbye from Todd there. I think that's a very good goodbye. So thoughts on that, Lex Luthor, the fan support? What are we thinking here?
I mean, it's a good response. It's a good response, I think, for sure, because people have been supporting and really like uplifting the show. People are like, wait, the CW show? Yeah, it's people are still surprised it's a CW show. Like, yes, they have a budget. I know. And the whole point you had mentioned earlier about it not being canceled, there have been people that, of course, are saying it got canceled. And there was one individual who's really popular on social media who tweeted out saying it was canceled. And I'm like, you have a huge following.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be better with your words, because you are now spreading misinformation to comic book fans that then will assume this is legit when it never was announced for a season 5. It wasn't like they got season 4, they aired all the episodes.
They keep going back to that damn quote about them saying they think it has 4 or 5 seasons in it. And it's that was just a general statement. That wasn't them saying we're going to give them a season 5. That was never said.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I'm glad that their statement was good. And I'm glad that they are planning it. Just like with Supergirl, they announced season 6, and then a little bit later they announced it was the final season. Same thing. So
Lance is in the house now. We have Lance in the building. So,
but it's the same thing as Supergirl. Supergirl was announced as a next season, then they announced later it was the final. And of course, same thing happened. It got canceled. No, it didn't. It was ending. Yeah. Melissa was done.
Right. Canceled.
What about Black Lightning though?
Very different story.
Yeah, that would be like I am waiting for Netflix to do a Black Lightning behind the scenes, what really happened in the final season, because that show clearly something was happening. Something was definitely happening behind the scenes in Black Lightning, and I don't know. Like, so funny. We had a Halloween event this past weekend at the club, and someone performed "Calling All the Monsters" by China McClade or whatever, and they're like, "You know who this is?" I said, "I know who that is. Trust me, I know who that is." But yeah, so I'm waiting for that expose on that show. So Lance, you just arrived. I'm going to give you your chance to say something. How do you feel? Are you upset? Are you happy? Are you relieved? Are you confused? What's going on in your head right now?
About anything.
Yes, about the
world. Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me to this little stream of sorts. Can't stay long because I just ran in the house. I did I posted my thoughts earlier. I did a video expose on the whole thing. I'm not surprised.
Wait, a whole expose, like deep dive?
Yeah,
I did a deep dive.
He had the whiteboard and everything. He was marking down shit and
all the numbers going past was like
figuring out numbers and shit.
Honestly, in all seriousness, I'm not surprised. I am surprisingly, I'm happy that this is happening because one, it could go out on top, just like Stargirl did. It could go out on top. One of the better shows, not one of the better shows, the better show on the CW. It could go out with a bang. No, he never did. It was an illusion. It was an illusion. But like I said, I'm not surprised at all. We all expected this. We weren't expecting it to get a season 4.
Right. Yeah. That's what Darren just said. Yeah.
So it's like when they announced that cutting costs on the cast, cutting episode count. I'm like, okay, that's one thing. I mean, honestly,
cutting writers.
Yeah, and then they came out with that. I said, "Oh,
cutting electricity, cutting water."
We're gonna hear about that. We're gonna hear about that soon. And honestly, it's irritating when people be like, "I'm not gonna watch the show anymore because half the cast ain't gonna be there." They were barely there for the past 2 seasons. We see John Henry Irons for 5 out of the 13 episodes. Sarah, the Cushings, their storyline is non-existent. Lana had the most screen time out of the entire family this season, and she was still in 6 episodes. I'm like, they've been preparing us for this since 2022.
I will agree with you. I think last season was definitely a preparedness for what was going to happen this season. It did feel like they were purposely leaving people out of some of the storylines.
Knocking John Henry Irons out with a concussion for the back half of an entire season.
I'm not going to disagree with this, Noah. Stargirl should have gotten 6 seasons.
I agree.
Stargirl could have gotten 9-10 seasons. I would have been happy with that, to be honest. No, Robert, please, no Loki spoilers. No Loki spoilers. No, I'm watching it after we're done with this. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So the way I feel about it is very similar to everybody else. I am sad that it is ending because obviously it's one of my favorite TV shows, but I'm also happy that they are not going to drag us on through 2025 wondering if we're going to get a season 5 and letting them end on a cliffhanger where Alexa's like, and now I'm going to doom. And then you're like, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen next. And
I will say,
go ahead, Lance.
Darkseid?
Doesn't this make Tyler the longest running Superman?
Yeah, time-wise, he would have been Superman. As Superman, yes, as Superman.
Because he's been Superman since 2016.
Tom Welling has been Clark Kent longer than anybody else. Tom Welling's time as Clark Kent surpasses anybody else on TV, time-wise. But yeah, Tyler definitely. There are actually people. This is not me talking shit or whatever. There are people that say Tyler is their favorite Superman. 100%. Yeah. There are people that feel that way about him because he represents a type of Superman we've never seen in live action. He's a parent. He's been married for years. They live in Smallville. He's, no longer doing reporting. Just the entire vibe of the show is so different. By the way, there's a lot of people that like 2 other people that I stream with occasionally did not watch the show in the beginning, and they knew that it was on HBO Max. And so they were like, I'm going to go watch it because I've never watched it before, but I have heard that, that it's a good show. And I said, it is really good. They came back and they were like, I binged the first season already in one weekend. They're like, it is the best iteration of Superman we've had in a very long time. And they said because he brings that sense of hope to and that basically what he said was, they talked about it a lot this past season, is that Clark's biggest weakness is his ability to feel like there's good in everyone, and that he doesn't see that people can be deceptive or whatever. Not that he's stupid or naive. He just wants the best for everybody. And that's something that we missed in the DCEU Superman, which I wish they would have gotten to at some point with Henry Cavill's Superman, or Clark Kent, I should say, in that sense. But here's the deal. Unless this writers or this actor strike wraps up this week, keep saying writer strike, actor strike. This show might not even be filming until February, March of next year if they've got to go away and come back in January.
Yeah.
So we might not get season 4 until 2025, like the end of 2024, 2025.
It's poetic though. You see Superman, Lois season 4, then you go to the theaters, Superman Legacy.
Yes. That's another thing, is in that article, it talked a little bit about that. Do you guys think that Superman Legacy had anything to do with this decision?
Nope. It's CW and budget, and they're changing up the whole format.
I don't think James cares about these shows. I think they could have just lived on, and they would have been like, oh wait, those are still airing? Okay, that's fine. He's doing this Elseworld thing for a reason, for we can have these other things going on while he's doing what he wants. There's people that are saying, well, James Gunn canceled the show, it's his fault, the DCU's to blame. It's no, it's not. It hasn't even started yet. We're at least a year out from it even getting going. So
we're still within the DCEU. It's not done yet. Aquaman 2. And no, because he doesn't care, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
exactly. Like the whole Hollywood Reporter article was talking about, this is all happening because DC is restructured. No, this is happening because the CW is ass. That's why it's happening.
I love that you cut off text. You didn't even let the text speak. You were like, they said, no, that's not what they're saying. You just jump right into it. I'm getting a little bit annoyed with some of these legacy companies like Hollywood Reporter and Variety, because this piece we're going to talk about in a second with Marvel is getting a little bit of pushback from some people in the industry who are kind of putting into question the writers' role in this. And we might have to apologize to Ray Fisher. We might have to apologize, right? Maybe that's a apology might be coming his way with all of this. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Everybody knows how I feel about that article. That article pissed me off.
Let me just say this: I've got criticism about Ray Fisher, but I do believe that he dealt with some bullshit. So I know that for sure. There was definitely some bullshit going on. But anyway, so basically the way it looks right now is that Superman and Lois is going to get their season 4. We're going to get, I think it's still 10 episodes now.
Yeah.
Is it 10?
Yep.
We're going to get the 10 episodes.
Superman and Flash team up.
I hope. I would love that.
With Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern.
Could you imagine
Stephen Amell,
the last episode?
We don't want a scab involved. Come on.
I'm going to put this out there right now. The last episode, they have to reform the Justice League. So we have Green Arrow show up. We have the Flash show up.
Hey, that would be dope. That would be dope.
They just step through portals. They come in through portals and they're there.
Yeah,
Warren Christie shows up as Batman finally.
Like Darren
on your left.
Like Darren was joking. So have Lex, he creates the anti-Justice League or whatever, the Legion of Doom, and then you have the Justice League, and then at the end,
wait, you just froze, and we didn't
froze.
You
froze at the perfect time.
The
and
most important part of your statement is where you froze. You literally froze there.
It happens. My internet at times, but yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple comments here. Because I know Lance has to run, so let's try and get as many of these possible. Laura said, "Did you see the Mint Mobile commercial with Grant Gustin?" I've not seen it. Have you guys seen it?
It's so good.
It's not Mint Mobile, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's Mountain. That's what the company is. People say Mint Mobile because
what is it? Just a regular mobile phone commercial or something?
It's not mobile. It's a commercial
TV thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a TV thing. Yeah, discussing film. Their tweet blew up about it, and they said Mint Mobile, and it's not Mint Mobile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's clear. But it's fun to watch. You gotta watch it.
It's really good.
Yeah, Grant's name is Seymour.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look for it after this. Victor with the 199 super chat goes, you see someone else pick up the show, it's the end. No, I don't think so.
Nope.
Because this is a
There's no
creative
point.
decision. Yeah, it's a creative decision.
Just to let it go out on a high. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would
have
much
Lex
rather
drop Superman from the sky.
Yeah, I don't like this idea of picking up shows does work sometimes, especially like if they wanted to come in and pick up Batwoman or Legends, I'd be like, yeah, let's pick those up and finish those out. But
you're picking up Prison Break.
Yeah, I saw that, but I heard it's like it's
a whole new thing. Yeah, it's just like inside the world of Prison Break. It has nothing to do with the rest of the show.
Wait, is it going streaming? I'm guessing.
Hulu. Yeah.
So wait, they're going to deal with other people trying to break out of. So is it just the Prison Break universe?
Yeah, it's
like
just
people
like
breaking out
it's
of
a whole
prison?
new cast. It has nothing really to do with the other show. It's just in that same world.
Stupid.
Interesting.
Just make an original show.
You're asking too much, Chainsaw. You're
no,
asking way too much.
I'm actually being realistic. Make an original damn show.
All right. Let's see here. No more having Eric having a thing for Lois is yelling. I'm sure she'll yell some more in season 4, so that'll definitely happen. I think she's my favorite character on the show. Literally, Lois is. So I would love to see just continue.
They gotta give
yelling
Jordan
at people,
a suit.
so. Yes. Well, they have no reason not to now. It's the final season. They can be super comic booky if they want at this point. Like, they can do anything they want. Like Riverdale. Riverdale went off the rails on their final season. So
yeah.
I've said for years where I didn't want Jonathan to get powers because I always thought like 3 Kryptonians on one show is like too much. But now it's the final season. Just do it. Like, people have been wanting them to do it.
Yeah,
do it now.
Yeah, he like the season 4 premiere. Oh, I got powers, and then it cuts.
Anthony here says James Gunn should get Tyler. I wouldn't be mad about that in the DCU.
Yeah.
I don't know who he would play though.
Kal-El?
Batman, really?
Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Who did you say, Darren?
Yeah.
I mean, Jor-El. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Kal-El. Kal-El.
Kal-El. Like,
Just do it again, no.
Wait, is there a werewolf-like creature in DC? Am I blanking?
No.
I mean, not really. There's the werewolf.
The answer is no and never and no.
But make up a werewolf. Make up a werewolf and give it to Tyler.
I do like your idea of him being Batman. I mean, that'd be interesting. Sure, why not?
That would be a really interesting take for him to go from Clark to Bruce. That would be.
Oh no, have him be a YouTuber named Jordan.
What?
He's already on Netflix. He doesn't need people portraying him.
Yeah, I'm already Netflix star. I don't need none of this. Come on now.
Robert here says, still get chills with that scene in season 1, 2, 3 where Lois is attacked and he fights the guy and then saves the victim. Shows how long they worked as a team and how much they love each other. Really, yes, the show does not take anything for granted with the relationship of Superman and Lois Lane, or Clark and Lois. And even though I was annoyed with how long the cancer storyline went on in the 3rd season, I still enjoyed everything they did. It was done really well. I just felt like the pace was kind of slow, which, by the way, on binge, it doesn't feel as bad. Like when you're watching it on a binge, you get through it quick enough that it doesn't feel like it's dragging. But the week-to-week stuff, it was really rough for me. So anyway, we will revisit all of this soon. If you guys want to ask more questions in the chat about this, you can. We'll come back to this soon. But before we go, I'm going to be live for at least another 20, 25 minutes here. I want to talk about this Marvel stuff. And let me see here. Where's it at?
By the way, someone said Tyler is Mon-El. It would take forever to get to that point to have Mon-El.
Right.
Like, Tyler would be like, he'd be walking with a cane by that point. We get Mon-El.
People always give me shit because I actually think Chris was a good Mon-El. I just don't think he was giving good material. I think he looked fine as Mon-El. So
the only thing that came out of that is that he found the love of his life. So
yeah,
take it as a win. Whatever.
All right, so this is the article that came out this week. I did a video about this, about just the idea of recasting or bringing back the Dead Avengers or whatever. Jonathan Majors' backup plans, the Marvel's reshoots, reviving original Avengers, and more revealed. This is Tatiana Siegel, and this is the same person that wrote the article about DC with the whole stuff with Ray Fisher, where a lot of people said that most of that was bullshit, and that it wasn't real. And Ray had no support, which, by the way, I will say the thing about Ray Fisher is when all of that went down, nobody was taking his side. It was really like he was kind of out there on his own. I know that Jason Momoa showed a little bit of support for him, and I don't remember if Zack did anything. Did Zack Snyder show any support for Rey? I don't remember if he did or not.
I don't think
so. Well, I mean, he's in Rebel Moon, so
yeah, I don't know. Either way, it felt like Rey was out on his own, and I do feel like a lot of it was a combination of mistreatment and miscommunication. Either way, Tatiana has a thing for going after superhero movies and superhero properties. She seems to really not like them. But in this article, some of the bigger claims are that they want to bring back the OG Avengers, like revive them from the dead and bring them back, which would be, in my opinion, really fucking dumb. I don't like that idea. If you want to bring them back as a variant and do like a variant movie or something, I'm okay with that. But to bring back the ones that we've already had emotional connections with that have already finished their stories, that feels so performative and so money hungry that I don't think that's a good idea at all. Maybe I'm alone in this. What do you guys have any thoughts on that?
No, it's a fair point. This is already going to happen in Secret Wars. We don't need a separate movie to have the original 6 back. It's just because it's already going to happen.
Yep.
So we don't need it. And it sounds like, Marvel's not that desperate. Okay, just because Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania didn't do as well doesn't mean
the only one that didn't do well. By the way, I went through and looked. It's the only movie in the last 3 years that did.
Guardians 3 made over 800 million.
Almost, made 850 million. I think.
Yeah, they're fine. Just because She-Hulk didn't perform as well doesn't mean shit. Yeah. And the Marvels is probably going to be fine. It's whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just dumb. I think your point. I think she literally is just trying to stir up problems.
Yeah.
Like before I jump out, I just want to say, like I've been saying since this thing came out, this feels like a hit piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the Marvels coming out next week, and Jonathan's trial is this month.
You
This is random, and then the key art for it is like you literally have Carol on the downfall
when that was $1 billion movie.
Like you have her on that is bogus. And then then you're bringing up the director for the Marvels, talking about what director goes and works on another film while they're still developing one. I'm like,
look, it takes a lot of nerve to put Loki at the bottom of the down arrow. Loki down here at the bottom, and have Black Widow, one of the worst performing movies, over on the other side of the upscale.
And Doctor Strange as well, who had a movie like 2 years ago
that made over $900 million.
Yeah. Doctor Strange almost made as much as of the first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so like it's like it irritated me to read it. I'm like, one, why would they basically retcon Endgame like that? Those deaths, they meant something.
Exactly.
They meant something to fans, and
by
they
the
meant
way,
something
Lance,
to
I
the
want to
story.
point out that that's one of the biggest criticisms that most of the people that don't like current Marvel is that they don't have any stakes. So if you bring back those people that were killed off, you're literally doing the opposite of the biggest criticism that early Marvel movies had, which was that they didn't have any stakes. There was no finality to what they were doing.
And why is Spider-Man underneath it?
Because of Sony, I guess. I don't know. This art is just it's a joke to me. This whole By the way, the timing of this, it's interesting you bring that up, because that's what several people said. They're like, if you look back at Tatiana's work, like the article she's put out, she times them specifically before big things, like with the Snyder Cut, with the Marvels, all these things. Like when the Snyder Cut was coming out for with the whole Ray Fisher thing or whatever, she did an article back then. She's done articles on other stuff. I think what was it here? Cody says that she leaked Amber Heard's therapy notes. She was the one that did that. She's the one that leaked Amber Heard's therapy notes.
Wow. But people are also saying that that's bullshit too, that's not real.
The notes weren't real?
Yeah, well, but people are theorizing it's not real. Like, because some of the stuff in it just doesn't make sense, or it just sounds too outlandish to be real. But then again, if you watch the trial, there's some really outlandish shit in that. But there's the point that really stood out is that Jason Momoa showed up dressed as Johnny Depp on set. Jason Momoa's style is just like Johnny Depp's style.
Yes, they're both bohemian style people. They dress that way.
That should have been an issue back in 2017 when they shot the first Aquaman. But apparently it was an issue for Aquaman 2. It's bullshit. So it's not real. I mean,
So she's got that. She said the other thing they talked about was the backup plans for Kang, which was a shift to Doctor Doom, which, by the way, wouldn't be a big surprise how many big villains are left. Like, if they're going to shift from Kang, Doctor Doom is a very good guess. Like if you're just guessing that's what they're going to do, that's a very good guess. Which, by the way, people talked about the fact that Doctor Doom is connected to Secret Wars anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it would be dumb. It would be dumb just to. Oh yeah, we're just gonna you know what? He filmed all this stuff. We don't care about recasting. It's not like we haven't done that before with certain characters, i.e., War Machine showed up looking totally different.
And they made a joke about it. Like, this is I'm here to deal with it.
It's literally Kang variants. You could just say the new
How
guy
many
that
Loki
shows
variants did we get in season 1? We saw like 6 different versions of Loki.
Yeah.
Cast a female Kang for all I care.
You could. You absolutely could.
Didn't the article
just don't make them love each other? That's all.
Didn't the article say that they were discussing shifting even before the trial situation because of Quantumania's underperformance?
Yeah.
Quantumania made over 500 million, and just because it didn't perform as well doesn't mean that people don't know about Kang.
Yeah,
and that's still dumb because they released. That doesn't make sense because you just released Loki with Kang all in it.
And
that was filmed before the whole thing.
People love Loki.
Yeah.
Well, and then this Loki is going to tie into Kang Dynasty and shit.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So here's the weird thing, though. Like, you look at this from the perspective. I gotta go eat
dinner.
Okay, see you later, Lance.
Trying to lock me into this. I'm not gonna get mad about this stuff.
Bye.
He's gonna be eating dinner mad. I'm so mad.
Who was that guy? Who was? I don't
know. A variant of somebody. But so the thing is, if you look back at Phase 4, right? The first 3 movies in Phase 4 were Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals, right? They all had to deal with COVID backlash, like all of the stuff that was going on with COVID. And Black Widow, if people don't remember, that went to court over the whole day and day release where it was coming out on streaming as well as in theaters. So that was a big factor in that. Then you look at the back half, the other half of movies that came out in that era. So we had Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which made almost 900 million. We had what else was in that era? Thor: Love and Thunder, which even if people didn't like it, it made like 800 million.
It made money
on Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm trying to remember. I'm getting confused here on phases. What else was in that phase?
Spider-Man? No.
Yeah. No Way Home. Phase 4.
No Way Home. You're right. And Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, and No Way Home made almost $2 billion.
And Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness almost made $1 billion. So.
And they're in the theory that they're saying that Tobey Maguire is going to be one of the leads in Secret Wars. Which, if that's true, yes, that's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, but also the two specials did really well. Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special were both well received as well. So that was Phase 4. So if you look at that from that perspective, 3 things underperformed, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that it was post-COVID. It was like right after movie theaters reopened. And I know people don't want to accept that, but if you go back and you watch Eternals is not an awful movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a little long in the tooth. I think they could have done some editing on it, but I think overall the movie is fine. And they do a lot of things better than the Justice League movie. Makkari is the best movie speedster we've ever had, and she's not even the Flash. So it's a lot of things great there. Shang-Chi is a great fucking movie, by the way. Yeah. I love Shang-Chi. It's like a live action anime. I'm totally here for that, right? Black Widow, my biggest criticism of Black Widow is that it feels like it should have came out in like Phase 1 or Phase 2.
Yeah.
That's my biggest criticism of it. If it would have came out where that story actually took place, I think it would have been a much more well-received film. We're not going to talk about Taskmaster. Just let that go.
Not happening.
But overall, if you mean to tell me that they had one underperforming movie with Quantumania since they've started, back with the Spider-Man, and then they were like, oh shit, stop everything. We need to change our entire plan because we had one movie that's underperformed in the last 6 movies that we've made.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy came out after that and almost made 900 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And some of those characters are going to tie in to the next stuff, so it's not like it's like a separate. And once again, I froze. Yeah. What I was saying was that that some of those characters are going to continue.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was saying. And I saw you guys were froze, like shit again.
Yeah.
But so everything's going to start connecting now more. Mm-hmm. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So another thing they talked about in the article was Blade. Now, Blade is a movie that I believe is truly cursed. I think Blade is a cursed movie. I
Flash
think they
2.0.
I think they need to bring some people in to come around and smudge the set a little bit with a little, take care of some of the spookiness with it and everything, with all the dark energy going through there. All the black magic is taking over that set. It's unfortunate because Mahershala I love. I think he's fantastic. I totally was on board with him as Blade. Still am, actually. I mean, if they want to move forward with him as Blade. I love the originals. The first 3 movies, the first 2 to me are amazing. The third one, without Ryan Reynolds, it's not great, but I think he makes that movie a little bit. But I'm totally on board with it. But apparently, and I have this here, let me pull this up on screen. So apparently there was a version, they said there's a version of the movie, and this sounds so fanficky and so fucking stupid and so wrong, where there were 4 women in the movie that were the main characters and Blade was the supporting character. That sounds like the baitiest bait I've ever read in my entire life.
Yes.
So we had one of the people involved with writing some of the screenplays here. Hold on, let me make this a little bit larger so people can read it a little bit better. Okay, so it's not going to blow up. There we go. Let's do this. Where is it at? Right here. All right. We'll just leave it like this. I will read it out loud. You can hear my lovely voice. This is Michael Starbury. He says, I worked on a draft of this before the strike. Never saw a version. And keep in mind, before the strike, this was like the last, that would have been the last rewrite they had before they decided not to use it. So he goes, I worked on a draft of this before the strike, never saw a version where Blade was the 4th lead or it was a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. But I suppose a lot could have happened since I had anything to do with it. He was in 99% of the scripts I was a part of, which means he was involved in multiple rewrites of the scripts. So who am I supposed to believe? The person who has Michael has no reason to lie about this. Yeah. Right? He has no reason to lie. Am I supposed to believe like a insider source that talked to Tatiana or somebody who actually worked on it that has no reason to lie to me? Like,
I mean, I think she just made it up.
You think it was she just completely
I feel like some of this is sources, others she's just throwing bullshit into it because it's getting clicks, right? It's getting attention.
This is the one that sounds to me the most like I just wrote stuff down because people are going to click on it. This sounds like what those like anti like SJW woke channels think the MCU is. Like this sounds like what they're fighting against.
The MCU is what it would have been. Yeah, MCU. Yeah. So it sounds to me like this was written specifically for that, and I would not be surprised if she did have a true source. If she had a source, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt here. If she had a source, if that source was not someone who is just trying to spread this narrative to get them to write it, because there's no news right now. There's no news. Like we're getting breadcrumbs. Keep in mind, Variety is a reputable outlet and they're supposed to vet everything, but Tatiana always seems to be wrapped up with stuff that gets debunked over and over and over again.
Mahershala Ali can't like fight back against this right now.
Right.
He can't say anything.
None of the actors can.
No. So that's the problem too. Like nobody can, like he if he said something in a quote, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he can't say anything. So,
which is why this is even worse than some of the other stuff she's done, because the Marvels is coming out in like a week on it, like a little over a week now, or actually a week from tonight. Yeah. So that's coming out, and they released this article knowing that movie is already tracking a bit lower, specifically to like put another wedge in between the fans and the Marvel movies, which is just. This is like troll shit, honestly. This is like internet troll shit, but done with a reputable outlet behind it, which is what makes it really annoying. So also one of the other things that was brought up was the Marvels with Nia DaCosta apparently working on pre-production for something else while they were still in post-production for the Marvels, which I didn't think was a big deal. I'm like, okay, I'm assuming that all directors, sometimes work on multiple things trying to get it done, especially if they're setting up to film at the tail end of production of something else. Zack Snyder's done it before. We've seen him talking about stuff while he's working on something else and editing stuff while he's working on something else. I mean, he was doing stuff while he was editing the Snyder Cut, so it's not a big deal. But the article makes it seem like it's a problem, because here it says the quote was, the Marvels director Nia DaCosta began working on another film while the Marvels was still in post-production. The filmmaker moved to London earlier this year to begin prepping for her Tessa Thompson drama. And Eric Davis, who works with Fandango, you've probably seen his name around, he's written articles as well. He goes, this happens all of the time, by the way. Also, DaCosta was still very involved in post-production of the film. It takes a lot to direct a Marvel movie. Nia DaCosta was only 30 when she got the gig, Marvel's youngest director ever. She's a tremendous talent and is making history with the Marvels. If you don't want to see the film, all good. If you want to see it, then have a great time. But let's show Nia DaCosta some respect. She's earned it and then some. And this is another thing, is this Variety article, what makes it so egregious is Nia DaCosta is already dealing with trolling and people talking shit about her. And it's like, let's put out something that's not a big deal at all and make it seem super inflammatory just to fan some more flames her way for literally doing nothing but taking a job. She took this gig.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Oh, she wasn't really helping Marvel. Like, what? Like, at a certain point, what can she do? Like, because you hear all the time about directors who are, a movie's about to come out, they're already working on the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, are they supposed to wait till the movie's out in theaters and then they can start working? Like, no, because the contract's done.
Where's the hate for James Gunn? James Gunn was working on post-production for Guardians while he was still working on pre-production for his DC stuff.
Yeah. Movies take a really long time.
He's co-president of DC in promoting Guardians 3.
Right. But Nia DaCosta made the mistake of moving to London while post-production was happening and started like pre-production on another project.
And took a gig and got a job.
Right.
Bad.
Right.
You're working, you can't work.
And what I love about Eric Davis is that's exactly how I feel about everything. I don't ever try to convince somebody to like something they don't like. If you don't like something, you don't have to like it. We can sit here and talk about what you don't like about it, what I don't like about it, what I love about it, what you hate about it. We can do all of that. I don't need someone else to validate my like of something. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not the way I function. And I don't need to tear something down to make people hate it because I don't like it. But that seems to be a big part of the culture right now. And that's why this article was such a big deal, was because everyone out there who just wants to like stuff gets bombarded with so much negativity and hate from everywhere. I'm under the like I truly believe, and this is me 95% of the time, if I see something I don't like, I just keep scrolling.
Yeah.
The only time I'll ever really echo or talk on it or retweet it or post on or whatever is if I feel like it's doing something a disservice. But if it's somebody just simply saying they don't like something, okay, I just keep it moving. I'm not trying to convince some random person to hate anything. So for me, that article was a massive disservice. And this is the same person that wrote the article about Zack Snyder and all the Ray Fisher stuff. And Ray Fisher was pushing back against it, saying that it wasn't all true. And at the time, we were like, well, it sounds like it's legitimate because it's from Variety. Well, now I'm double thinking about whether or not that was actually legitimate, because Tatiana has been involved in a lot of this stuff where it comes off really sketch to me. So,
and your point is valid about saying it's Variety, so it's valid, right? They're trustworthy,
right?
It's an issue.
And a lot of this comes up because we're getting close to the end here. We're going to talk for 5 minutes. I got a couple starred comments and then we'll wrap everything up here. But, but I want to say this, that I truly believe that if you want to see the Marvels and you're excited about it, get your ticket, go see it. Don't care about how much it's going to make the first weekend. Don't care about how much it's going to make full run. Don't care what this article says. If you want to go see something, go see it. Don't let these articles talk you out of it, because you will regret it, honestly. All right, we have some comments here. Staggervore with a $4.99 super chat. Did you talk about Disney buying Comcast's remaining stake of Hulu yet? You know, for a company that's bleeding money and panicking, they sure have a lot of money to spend on just random stuff like Hulu. Yeah. I don't know if it even matters, honestly. Why do they care? I mean, I guess they just want to get rid of some of the other content because they put a lot of stuff on Disney Plus now. So they just what are they trying to buy Hulu to get rid of it? Is that their point? They're going to buy it, dissolve it?
Merge it to Disney. Because it's going to be like how International Disney Plus has Star for mature content. That's what's going to be.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this. Not because I don't like what Disney's done with some of their stuff, but I like that Hulu kind of has its own vibe. I feel like if it gets bought out by Disney, it's going to feel like a copy paste of of Disney Plus. I used to love Hulu. Like I thought Hulu was great. And then like Netflix and Hulu for me were perfect the way it was when that was just the two things, because you could watch everything you needed on one of those two apps. And now it's gotten complicated.
Have to get everything.
Yeah. Hero's Journey, $5 super chat. I'm the number one Eric and Lois shipper. Not many can make Eric jump out of his chair. Lois did in season 1 when she was yelling at the kids, and then Clark. I don't remember. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and look where that happened next. I don't remember that happening, to be completely honest. Maybe I'm just forgetting. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check and see. But thank you for the super chat. Look, I totally love Clark and Lois, Tyler and Bitsy. It's like I'm trying to inject real life or whatever. I don't need to be involved in that ship. They can do it, and I'm good with that. But I have to go back and see.
Maybe, that's the Darren I know right there. The Darren we have, that's the imposter. That's the real Darren right there.
It's a Darren variant.
Imposter, see, that's not real.
Okay, so this is a no spoiler super chat, but it's close to being spoilery.
Oh boy.
So be careful here. Maddie with the $4.99 super chat. With no spoilers, when Loki episode 5 ending, you'll realize it's easier ever to recast Kang. It's crazy they haven't apparently considered. Look, they could easily recast Kang by using just another version of Kang.
Yeah.
We saw at the end of this is a spoiler for the end of Quantumania. There are thousands of Kangs that don't look like Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
They had him in all kinds of prosthetics and everything doing that scene. So they could easily just make another Kang that doesn't look anything like him.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And then that Kang is powerful enough to make versions of himself, and then that becomes the this is not the new face of Kang, like or something.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got to watch Loki when we're done. I got to watch Invincible. Like I actually forgot that was coming out, so now I have to go watch that as well. Glad that Chainsaw brought it up.
You're gonna have a good time, trust me.
Okay.
Invincible is really good.
Okay, because I love the Adam Eve special, so I'm looking forward to this too as well.
Oh, you're not prepared, sir. You're not prepared.
Oh, I'm not? Okay.
When I watched the episode like a week and a half ago, I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Okay. Well, oh, that's right. You got the early access there. So okay, so I'm excited.
Okay.
So yeah, so most of the Kangs do look like Jonathan Majors, but that's because he was initially set up as the primary ones. But they could easily shift that over and act like the other ones killed off all the ones that.
Yeah, and also it's like you see like the gigantic arena. There's so many Kangs you don't see.
Right.
Like you don't know.
Yeah. Victor has a question for you. Okay.
I'm tired. I need sleep. I really didn't get sleep from last night's fucking council. I'm fucking tired.
I know, defunct, right? I forgot about it as well. We talked about that earlier, honestly. So anyway, well, I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. We had Lance earlier. Go check out Lance's channel. I know most of you are probably already subscribed to him, but go over and check him out. Darren, go watch his stuff. He's got some really cool streams over on his channel as well. And
he's missing a guest that should be on the pipeline.
Okay, yeah, he's got to pencil you in.
He does.
So. And obviously Chainsaw, looked great having him here and everything. There's some big changes coming with my streams on Saturdays. I talked to Chainsaw a little bit before we got started, but we will be talking about this Saturday the finale for Gen V, Loki's penultimate episode, and then the following week we'll be talking about Loki's finale. And I'm going to start reviewing Invincible, but I don't know the format yet, so look for that at the beginning of next week. I haven't figured out how I want to do it, but I'm going to be talking about that. I think about doing an anime stream or animation stream where just talking about cartoons and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested, hit me up and I'll let you know. So anyway, we've got some special guests on Saturday. Omega should be there, but we're going to have some other people as well. So thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks for all the support with the super chats and the comments. You guys have been amazing. Thanks for my guests being here. And we will be live again very soon. So have a great night. Bye.